At the beginning of the film, we see a man inside a crowded train carriage. The sound of a crying baby echoes, irritating one passenger, who angrily scolds the mother. Moments later, the man, let's call him Kenzo, receives a phone call from his ex-girlfriend. At first, Kenzo hesitates to answer, but eventually his concern makes him pick it up. During the call, his ex reveals that she is pregnant with his child. Although their relationship has ended, she demands responsibility from Kenzo. This news leaves him shaken. Distracted, Kenzo drops his phone. While she explains what the hospital had told her, Kenzo's asthma suddenly flares up, making it difficult for him to breathe or respond. As he climbs the station stairs, the signal on his phone cuts out, and the call is disconnected. Ignoring this, Kenzo continues down corridor after corridor of the station. Strangely, the only person he sees is a man walking past him. Soon, Kenzo realizes he has been walking through the same hallway repeatedly. From this point onward, he is referred to as the Lost Man, since he is now trapped and must find a way out. Watching the man who keeps appearing before him, Kenzo suspects he is hallucinating, but continues walking. Unexpectedly, he encounters a different man with a creepy appearance. Terrified, Kenzo runs back, only to find a sign telling him that he is currently on level 0. Determined, he presses on, and once again meets the unsettling man. This time, however, the man does not threaten him. Kenzo tries to trigger the alarm and open a door, but the alarm fails, and every door is tightly locked. Suddenly, blood begins flowing heavily before him. Shocked, he runs back again. This time, he notices a sign indicating he is now on level 1, along with a warning. Beware of anomalies. If you encounter an anomaly, turn back. If there is no anomaly, keep moving forward until you reach the exit at level 8. Kenzo memorizes this rule. To avoid danger, he carefully studies everything he passes, realizing that the flowing blood earlier was an anomaly. He now understands why he had remained on level 0 before, because he ignored the first anomaly, the creepy man. To prevent mistakes, he begins photographing every object, including the man who always walks past him. Kenzo then reaches level S. When he checks the photos, they have transformed into disturbing, sinister images. Forced to rely on memory alone, he continues onward. Once again, the walking man behaves strangely. Remembering the rule, Kenzo turns back immediately, which advances him safely to level 2. Encouraged, he inspects each item carefully. While checking lockers and a photo booth, he hears the cry of a baby coming from inside a locker. Curious, he opens it, only to discover it is an anomaly. He quickly turns back, arriving at level 3. Now with 5 floors remaining, Kenzo grows more determined, but soon the portraits along the walls begin staring at him with sinister expressions. Fortunately, he recognizes this as another anomaly and turns back, reaching level 4. With renewed energy, Kenzo presses on and makes it to level 5. He believes he is close to escaping. Just then, his ex-girlfriend calls again, asking, "Where are you right now, Kenzo?" Thinking nothing is wrong, he ignores the suspicion and keeps moving. But this call itself was an anomaly, forcing Kenzo all the way back to level 0. Now the corridors glow yellow. Overcome with anger and despair, Kenzo lashes out at his fate. After calming himself, he decides to turn back once more, which returns him to level 1. Continuing on, Kenzo encounters a young boy. Assuming the boy is an anomaly, Kenzo turns back, but instead of advancing, he is sent back to level 0 again. He realizes too late that the boy is not an anomaly, but another lost soul trapped in the same endless station. Kenzo chases after the boy, who is revealed to be named Kevin. At this point, the film shifts perspective to the mysterious man who had repeatedly crossed Kenzo's path, known as the Walking Man. We'll call him Chu. His story is revealed. Earlier, Chu had been guiding Kevin through the endless corridors just as Kenzo is now attempting. Memorizing every detail carefully, they reached level 5, but then a young woman appeared, let's call her Yuan, who at first seemed like just another passerby. Chu feared she might be an anomaly. After speaking with her, however, he realized she was real. Just as they were about to continue, Yuan suddenly began acting strangely, terrifying Chu. Turning back, he and Kevin advanced to level 6. Only 2 more floors remained. Kevin noticed that one of the doors ahead was suspiciously in the middle of the hall, but Chu ignored him and forced them to keep moving forward. As a result, both were reset all the way back to level 0. Encouraging Kevin not to give up, Chu pressed onward, eventually finding a staircase leading upward. Believing this was the exit, he hurried towards it, ignoring Kevin's warning that the staircase itself was an anomaly. Tragically, Chu was consumed by the time loop and trapped forever. This was the moment Kevin and Kenzo crossed paths, when Kenzo first mistook Kevin for an anomaly. From the beginning, Kevin never spoke a single word to either Kenzo or Chu. By the end, it becomes clear. Those who endlessly wander the corridors, like Yuan and Chu, are no longer fully human, but lost souls permanently trapped in the twisted time loop of the station. After confirming that nothing seemed out of place, Kevin pulled Kenzo forward so they could continue their journey. In the next corridor, they found the same strange door as before, the handle positioned awkwardly in the middle. Realizing it was an anomaly, Kenzo turned back, and together they advanced to level 2.
Just a few steps later, the lights suddenly went out, and eerie sounds echoed from the open air vents. Moments later, something terrifying occurred. Fortunately, Kevin spotted Kenzo's phone on the ground, and after retrieving it, the two decided to turn back once more. At level 3, Kenzo and Kevin encountered a cat and a woman Kevin called Mama. They quickly realized both were anomalies. Suddenly, Kevin collapsed unconscious, forcing Kenzo to carry him. When they reached level 4, Kevin finally regained consciousness. For the first time, Kevin spoke. He confessed that he had once wished to get lost, hoping his mother would come searching for him, but instead, he truly became lost, ending up in this otherworldly labyrinth. Hearing this, Kenzo felt closer to the boy, and the two decided to continue forward together. Before long, Kevin noticed something unusual. The number displayed ahead of them was reversed. Thanks to his sharp eye, they avoided another trap. On level 5, everything seemed normal at first, until a door suddenly swung open. From a distance, they saw Kenzo himself inside a crowded train, trapped just like at the beginning of the film. After this disturbing vision, they reached level 6. Here, Kenzo asked Kevin what he wanted to do once they escaped. Kevin answered simply, he wanted a slice of pizza. Then he handed Kenzo a seashell, calling it both a gift and a protective charm, before they pressed on. But suddenly, a flood of water engulfed them, dragging both into a surreal nightmare. In his subconscious, Kenzo found himself on a beach with his ex-girlfriend, watching Kevin happily playing in the sand. Strangely, Kevin addressed them as Mom and Dad. The moment shattered, and Kenzo fought desperately to save him. But when debris struck him, Kenzo lost consciousness again. As the waters receded, Kevin, still alive, turned back, followed shortly after by Kenzo, who had regained his senses. At last, they climbed to level 7. Believing Kenzo to be dead, Kevin resolved to continue alone, but Kenzo, still alive, also pressed forward. After countless struggles, Kenzo finally reached level 8, where a staircase descended toward the exit. Though hesitant at first, he took the path and found himself among other people once again, suggesting that he had at last returned to reality. Soon after, Kenzo received a call from his ex-girlfriend, who asked where he was. Concerned for her health, he told her he was on the way to the hospital. Boarding a train, he headed toward her. But then, shockingly, the same scene from the beginning repeated itself. A baby's cries filled the carriage, and an angry passenger berated the mother. Kenzo froze in silence, realizing with dread that he was still trapped inside the time loop, condemned to wander its endless corridors once again.